Okay, so I have just finished filming this look using all Youngblood products. Now what I've shown you in this video is how you can use one product for about 3 or 4 different uses, and that way you can minimize your makeup bag. You can buy one product that'll do more than one thing. I've shown you how to contour, how to do the eyeshadow, and I haven't used any eyeshadow on my eyes today, so have a look at the video and see what you think. I'm going to begin with the eye cream. This is by Youngblood. It's the Eye Impact. Just looks like that. So you just need a small amount, ever so small, and you're just going to place it under your eye area. The next thing I'm going to use is the mineral primer. This is the liquid mineral primer by Youngblood. It is soft and silky smooth. Just one pump is really all you need. Here we go. And then just pop that all over your face. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different with the base. I'm going to combine the loose mineral foundation and also the liquid foundation. But rather than doing the liquid first and then the loose, we're going to start with the loose. Now I'm using the shade Warm Beige. What I like to do when I'm using this product, let me see if I can get the lid off. Slippery hands, hang on. So I like to tap a small amount onto a dish or a plate, and I like to use these plates. So I pop a little bit onto the dish, and that way it doesn't get into the lid and it gets all messy. And then we're going to use the Youngblood Kabuki brush. This one is perfect. It's really nice and dense, so it'll help to pick up the product and it helps to blend it in. Okay, so I've just done a light coverage of the loose mineral foundation, and if you like you can actually build that up, but because we're going to put the liquid mineral foundation over the top to give it more of a dewy sort of finish, and just to give us a little bit more coverage, I won't need to do extra loose. So in order to do this, you're going to need like a damp blending brush. So just give a little spray under water, squeeze it out so it's nice and damp, and then you'll need 1 pump of your liquid mineral foundation. Just like that. And you're going to place this in and you're going to press it into your skin. So there I have done just 1/2 of my face. I'm not sure if it's picking it up through the camera, but it's given me more of a little bit more coverage. I'm sure I can build that up as well. But it's also given a little bit of a dewy sort of effect. So rather than that matte effect of the loose mineral powder, it's sort of bringing that dewiness back. It feels really nice. It doesn't feel like it's fighting with each other. The two products are mixing beautiful. So basically you're just dabbing that on really gently to get that little bit of extra coverage and a little bit more of a luminosity to the skin. I do like this. It's a really nice finish. Kind of hides those red cheeks a little bit more for me, but also allows it to still stay very natural, which is definitely my preferred look. Probably need a little bit more for the forehead. I quite like that. Okay, so now that I've blended the two foundations in together, they're actually sitting really quite nicely. I won't set the foundation just yet. I usually like to do the rest of my base first and even my eyes before I start to set that foundation. I like to let it sort of sink in. So what we're going to use is the Mineral Radiance tint. This is the Golden Sun, and you've probably seen me use it before. I do love this as a bit of a creamy contour. So we'll start warming up the face, because you'll see now it's fairly flat, you know, with the one color we don't, you know, we've lost the cheekbones. We want to start accentuating this again. So same thing, 1 pump with this. And what I will use is the other side of my blender as well, because that's going to work really quite nicely on the skin. So you're just going to place it fairly high near that cheekbone to give you that lift, and just pressing it into the skin and popping a little bit up onto my temples and forehead to really warm up the face and create a nice frame. And I just sort of grab a little bit more and just work that in. So keep going till your desired amount, a little bit down your jawline. I also like to put a little bit down the side of the nose and up. Really careful into this inner corner of the eye and over the eyes. Again, it's all to create that little bit of depth. So you can see how it's just created a little bit of lift and a bit more warmth into the face. So now we're going to do the blush. So I'm sticking to doing the base. I'm going to do the blush, and I'd like to stay with sort of the more dewy products. So I've got a couple of options here. This is a loose mineral powder, and this is in Plum. It's one of my favorites. But we've also got the Diamond Illuminator, which they are currently repackaging or reproducing, so we can't get it at the minute. But what I love to do with this is mix a drop of this with the loose powder, and it creates more of a creamy blush. So I'll show you what this looks like. It's like that. So it's got a real luminosity to it, and it mixes perfectly with the blush. So we'll mix that on our little plate as well. So I've mixed it together, and this is what it looks like. It's like a creamy little paste, and I'm just going to use my fingers to pop that on, and then I will use the end of the blending brush just to blend that out. Okay, so I've used the end of the Beauty Blender, the little bit of the product, and I've just made sure that we've blended that up. Again, keeping it nice and high. This helps to lift the face, makes it look nice and fresh. You can even put a little bit of your excess through here as well and across the bridge of your nose to give yourself that nice sun-kissed look. So now we're going to head into some of the powdered products. So this first one I'd like to start with, again, is starting on the base. This is called Soliel, and it is a defining bronzer. So that's the shade. And I'm just going to use an angled brush, and we're going to follow that golden sun that we did earlier through here. Okay, so just like on the other side, I'm just going to angle that brush nice and high. I'm going to add some more contouring. Frame the face. And this just really helps that other product, gives it a bit of depth, and again warms up the face. So remembering that number 3. And keeping it high because that creates a bit of lift. Now we're going to take a small fluffy brush, and we're going to use the same bronzer. We're going to use this to shape the eye. So we're going to contour the eye with this first, before we do anything else. So it may be hard to see the difference, but what we're doing is we're popping this with a fluffy brush right into this outer corner, and we're really pushing it up into that brow bone. And we would like the bulk of the product to be here, and then the residual to come through the socket line in towards the inner corner. And I suggest to do it just a couple of times to get the right amount. You may feel you'd like a little bit more, so just keep building it up until you get the desired amount there and the look and I also run a little bit underneath the eye as well. And don't worry too much where that will go. We haven't done any concealer or anything yet, so just keep pushing it into that outer corner and then building it up into that brow bone. If your eyes are slightly hooded or do you feel like they're quite small, you can really accentuate your eyes and make them bigger by sitting up onto this brow bone and pushing it a little bit higher. So you're really angling underneath as opposed to straight on. You're just really getting it up into that crease and nice and gently moving it around. So the next powdered product, or dry product I should say, this is the highlighter. So we're going to do the same. We'll use this on the face, but we will also use it on the eyes as well. So this is just showing you a few ideas where you can just take a couple of products and use it on both eyes and face. So this is called Aurora. And I'm going to take a larger brush at first and I'll highlight the high points of my face. So just showing just the tops of the cheekbones, just under the brow there, tip of the nose, Cupid's bow, and even just above there too. You just have to be really careful. You just want to catch the high points of your face that catch the light and give you a little bit of that glow. So using a flatter brush, this is possibly a little big, I'm putting the highlighter just on the ball of the eye there and in the inner corner. So this way it's really pushing that eye forward, creating a bit of light. Also putting a little bit just underneath the brow bone. Now just be careful, we will probably powder this off just so it's not too shiny on the brow bone. You can see this one here is looking just a little bit shiny, but what we'll do is when we powder that off, that'll take a bit of that edge off, but still leave it highlighted. Now we're going to use the chocolate eyeliner. Now as you can see by the sheer size of this, it is one of my favorites. It's the Youngblood one and it is in Chestnut. So it's just easy to use, it's nice and creamy and it smudges quite nicely as well. So I'll show you how we're going to pop that on. I'm going to put that on and then I will smudge it out with a little brush as well. Okay, I will try and talk through this as I demonstrate the other eye. So what you'd like to do is you want to bring it really close to your lash line. I always sort of start in the middle and then little thin brush strokes moving it along. Closely getting into the inner corner and into the outer corner. In the inner corner you really want to open your eye a bit and just get it in there. And as you get to the outer corner, I do like to have my eyes open and I do a little mini flick. And I use my hand finger just to smudge that. And then we pull it back and really make it quite defined. Just creates a little bit of depth. I used a brush as well. And this just pushes it into that lash line. You really want it nice and dense in that lash line because it creates a really good lift for the eye. I also put it on the, what we call the tight line. Can't talk. Can I do that? So yes, it might feel weird, but it's quite a good place to have it. And a little bit on, it's hard to demonstrate underneath, under the lash line. And once again, I just sort of get it there and then with a brush, we can move that along a little bit. And just check and make sure you're even. Possibly could go a little bit more in this outer corner. Really work it into that lash line. Now that we've got most of the eyes on, we're going to pop on the mascara. Now this mineral mascara I love because I especially love the spoolie. It's just a standard everyday spoolie, but when you take it off, it doesn't clump. So what I find is I just shimmy it along the lashes and I blink down on it to make sure we get every lash. I do find it hard to show you mascara on through the camera. I need to get kind of quite close up and personal. So what I do is just blink down on the lashes, and then I do make sure each one is coated and separate as well. So next we're going to use the concealer. Now this is the medium, and we're going to just pop it just underneath the eye, so this will clean up this eye area, because at the minute we don't have much under here, so I just want to clean this up, and we'll powder that straight away to set it. Okay, so I've placed the concealer here and here, and we're just going to blend that out. I've got this brush, and I use the pointed end. You can use a fluffy brush as well, just to blend it through and blend it along. We really want to be light-handed as possible with concealer, because concealer can sit. It's the biggest thing that women often say is, oh my goodness, it's showing up my wrinkles. And a lot of that is to do with just how much concealer you've put on, and the type of concealer as well. This one is quite dewy. I'm using the blending brush because I know, the beauty blender, because I know it's got a bit of foundation on it, and it'll actually blend it in just nicely under the eye. And what you will have noticed is straight away I went in with some setting powder. Really important to just set this area so that it doesn't move or slide around. And I put a slight amount up here just to dull that highlight down. It seems, same there, seems a little bit too full on for me. Okay, so for the lips, before we start, we're going to go back into the Defining Bronzer, and we're going to contour the outside outline of our lips. Now do this with a very thin, fine brush, fluffy brush, and again, not too heavy-handed, as you can build. Okay, so I have small lips, but I've just contoured the outside to give them a little bit more depth, or try and make them a bit bigger. Now we're going to use the Pout liner, and I will slightly overline them, not majorly so, but just a little bit to make them look that a little bit more fuller. Not sure if you can tell, but they are a little bit fuller now. They're still a little bit dry because I do have foundation on top of them. So they're a little bit fuller with that line. So now we're going to go in with the lipstick. The one I love at the minute is called Blushing Nude. So, but check out the package. Love packaging. This is gorgeous. It's magnetic, but look at this. The color is stunning. I'll just show you here what that looks like. See that? That is the color. So it's a gorgeous shade. So we're going to pop that over the top. Okay, so now we're going to do the brows. Now I love this. This is the On Point Defining Brow Pencil. Now on one end you have the spoolie brush, and on the other you have your shade. Now I tend to swing between either the blonde or the soft brown, and I find either will work well for my eyebrows. Just the soft brown seems to be just a little bit darker, and basically my way of determining is whichever one I pick up out of the bag first. So what the best idea to do first is to comb your brows through, then put some product in, and then comb them through again. Okay, so I'll just talk you through this one. We're going to comb through the brow, comb it through first, and then we'll pop some product in. I always start on this outer corner first. So if you start on the inner corner, you can tend to end up making your brow just that little bit too dark. So just fine sort of brush stroke motions is the best way to describe what I'm doing. And then I do a small amount through here, but I do like it to be just that touch lighter through that center. I find if it's too dark, you can look like you're frowning. So just be wary of the shade that your brow is. This is probably my favorite brow. This one tends to dip a little. So hence the demonstration on this brow. So we've nearly completed this look, but there's something that I do love to do, and if you've seen some of my videos, I tend to do it in nearly every one. So I do like to incorporate the eyes into the face, or the face into the eyes, whichever way you'd like to put it. But I do like to add, say whatever I've popped on my cheeks, I do like to bring that into the eye makeup somehow, just so that it all just flows nicely. So we're going back to that loose blush that I had earlier. This is in Plum. And I'm going to grab a soft brush and I'm going to put some on the outer corner of my eye. I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so it's hard to know if the camera has actually picked that up, but I will go through it step by step. A little fluffy brush is all you need. And what you want to do is not in the crease and not up on your brow. You'd like to be in between, so just in here. And you're just sweeping, again, most of the product on this outer corner, and then some of the residual can just pop into the inner corner. And what it will do is it'll just soften that area a little bit underneath as well. It'll soften the area and it will really look like you have got your blending game down pat. So, and then it just brings that color into the face as well. I'd probably go a step further and get my blush brush, which I'll do, and I'll just add a little bit more of that blush, loose blush on top. Okay, so just adding a little bit of that loose blush just back on the cheeks, keeping it nice and high. Just a bit more colour, nice and high. Sweeping it up a little bit on this temple as well, and across the nose. That'll just give you, again, just brings that whole look together. Finally, we are going to set the look with some powder. Now, I like to use, this is the medium, sorry, what is this one? This is the medium rice setting powder. I like to use it in the loose. I do find, I love it, I've got a lot of control. However, it does come in a pressed version, which when you're learning and if you're out and about is much easier. So same thing, just tap a little bit of this off into your dish. And you only want to pick up a little bit of it. It is very fine. I'll show you how fine it is. It's very fine. So it's not going to add a heavy layer. Now, I will show you, I'll probably talk you through half the face. But what I like to do is kind of spot set. So I like to set the areas that have not already been set with powder. So the areas that haven't been contoured or highlighted or blushed. Okay, so I'll show you that. Instantly you'll see that that has taken a bit of a shine off that side of the face. My natural oils will come back to the fore anyway, so it won't stay completely matte, but you can see that I've just set where it needs to be set. So same on the other side, just dab your button and you're just going to roll it into your face. Rather than swishing it around, just want to place it in, and this way we're setting this area. So this area hasn't had any powder, no contouring, no powder, no blush. Same with just up under here. You have to get quite specific. Under the nose, you can see I'm quite dewy through there. And just on the forehead there, pretty much where you didn't put that bronzer. And a little bit down the nose. I might do the tip again because it's a bit shiny from that highlighter. So highlighter is good, but it can get a little too much. So there you have, that is the finished look using all Youngblood products for both face and eyes. So it's just showing you how they can have a bit of dual purpose. Saves you a little bit of money too.